Dozens dead in India's southern state of Kerala as landslides swept homes away in the district of Wayanad. A landslide started after midnight, triggered by torrential rain. The hillsides gave way, sending boulders, mud and water crashing through villages where workers and their families slept, many in makeshift tents. The number of fatalities is expected to rise as dozens more are feared trapped. One survivor said he had to wade through chest-high mud for hours before he was rescued. Search teams are struggling against heavy rain and trying to work around the collapse of a bridge that had linked Wayanad with the nearest town. Mud and debris also making terrain unstable for rescue. Around 350 families live in the region, with about 250 people rescued so far. Wayanad is prone to landslides during the monsoon season. Before the latest incident, it recorded up to 28 centimeters of rain in just 24 hours.
We fear that the gravity of this tragedy is much more than these numbers. Rescue operations are being carried out on a war footing. Police, NDRF, Fire Force and various agencies are actively involved in rescue operations.
The latest, Rebecca Bundhun joins us live from Mumbai. Rebecca, as we already outlined, search and rescue made difficult by a collapsed bridge as well as uncertain terrain. What other challenges are they facing on the ground?
Yes, well, there's been continued torrential rainfall, which has made these efforts very difficult. Also, weather conditions mean it's very difficult to deploy helicopters, for example, which could be used in these rescue operations. But really, the big challenge has been that connectivity, because a lot of the roads have been damaged by these rains, swept away. That bridge has collapsed, which means that accessing areas have been difficult. And authorities have been saying that they haven't even fully assessed really where all the landslides have taken place, because some areas they just haven't really been able to reach. So that's made these operations very difficult, as it's a race against time to try to get to people who have been buried in these landslides. And really authorities are expecting, and everyone is expecting, this death toll to only rise, because the full extent of the impact has really not yet been fully assessed. Now, also the added challenge is the fact that it's approaching the end of the day. Nightfall will be here soon, and that's going to make it even more difficult to really carry out these rescue operations in nighttime conditions. So really it is that race against time, but the environment, the conditions have just made it so tough. Although authorities have deployed all forces, the army is involved in this, the National Disaster Response Force, all these agencies on the ground working to try to rescue people, but it is incredibly difficult.
Rebecca, we're looking at those pictures there. As we also reported, 28 centimeters of rain in just the 24 hours before the landslide occurred. And this is monsoon season, so not new to this region. 2018, we saw massive flooding kill hundreds. Are measures, have you seen them in place in the last few years, certainly since 2018, to, I suppose, minimize the effect of tragedies like these?
Well, we were there on the ground in 2018 covering those floods and that disaster and the impact on people's lives. And I remember at the time there was just so much that needed to be done, the rehabilitation of those families. So many people were displaced by those floods, and then also just the huge damage that was done to infrastructure across the state. And there were such efforts that took years really to repair a lot of that damage. But then also, mitigation efforts were being talked about, taking more steps to try to prevent loss of life in these cases. But often that's very, very difficult, given the fact that the weather is, climate scientists saying, only getting more extreme. Some of these events can't be predicted in terms of where the landslides are necessarily. That can be extremely difficult. That they just come out of nowhere often, and what they do, they're not expected at all. So incredibly difficult situation there. Although the opposition Congress President Rahul Gandhi, who's also a former MP from Wayanad, the district that has been affected by these landslides, has been talking about the need for more mitigation efforts. And also he's talked about the urgent need to actually do some kind of mapping of landslide-prone areas to try to prevent these kind of situations. I mean, again, that would be a very challenging task to do something like that. But he's spoken about that, and certainly there will be calls for more action to try to prevent these kind of disasters having such an impact on human lives.
And thanks for that update, Rebecca Bundhun reporting live to us there from Mumbai.